Hey there, I'm back. I've been away for a little while, took a break from recording videos, but I am very excited to be back today sharing with you the answer to the question, if I have Hashimoto's, should I do a ketogenic diet? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Peternell. I'm the owner of Family Nutrition Services in Denver, Colorado. So, the question today, if I have Hashimoto's, should I do a ketogenic diet? The ketogenic diet is also known as keto, and it's all the rage right now. I'm sure you've heard of this diet. You probably know someone who's tried it. Your doctor may have even suggested it, and you may have watched another video here on YouTube about how to do the diet and be successful. And I get a lot of questions from my viewers on my YouTube channel, and I also get a lot of questions from my clients about whether or not this is the right type of diet to do if you have Hashimoto's. So I'm going to do my best to answer questions for you. The very first thing that you need to know if you have Hashimoto's is that there is no one size fits all dietary approach. I'm sure you've heard me say that before in some of my other videos. Well, it's true. You need to keep in mind that we are all very biochemically unique and individual. And so what works best for me isn't necessarily going to work the best for someone else. However, there's a lot of research and a lot of clinical information that we can use to apply to whether or not a diet is one that we would want to try and if it is something that we would be successful for both our weight and for our health. So the next thing I want you to know is that the ketogenic diet typically doesn't work as well for women. Oh, bummer. Just one more thing that we as ladies have to hear about, right? Well, why is that exactly? There's a couple of different reasons, but one of the things that I've found most of all is that just we ladies, we need a significant amount of body fat in order for our bodies to function healthfully and normally. And when your body is using ketones as a source of fuel, that can disrupt the amount of body fat that you have, and it can disrupt things like hormones and a whole host of other things, which I'll be talking about in just a couple of minutes. Now, why would guys be more successful with keto? Well, I think the real reason is because they can quickly burn their fat stores without losing too much muscle. I see this a lot because I do bioimpedance analysis testing or body composition testing in my office for my clients. And sure enough, regardless of what the weight loss approach is, men generally lose weight faster and they lose it from their fat stores versus losing it from their muscle. I have other videos that you can watch that are about bioimpedance analysis or body composition testing. So you can watch that video and you can learn a little bit more about that. So the next thing about ladies is that women who are perimenopausal or menopausal definitely have some more struggles when it comes to doing the ketogenic diet. Man, I know, such a bummer, right? So ladies in general maybe just don't do so well with keto, but women who are of a certain age group, I would say maybe 39 to 55. Hi, that's my age group. We tend to have fluctuating hormones anyway, and we need carbohydrates as a source of that fuel to produce healthy hormones and healthy hormone balance in our body during this already tumultuous time. So there's just a little bit of background. For me personally, I've tried keto and I found it was tough. And of course, I did keto. I tried it when I was in my perimenopause years, as I am now. Just about every diet I've given a try because I like to know a little bit about the diet and I like to know if it's something that I would recommend for my clients. Well, I can tell you that right out of the gates, when I first started increasing the amount of fat calories that I was eating per day and restricting complex carbohydrates that I was eating per day, I started to feel not very good. I felt really like brain foggy. I felt extremely tired, and I felt like I was just kind of dragging myself around without my usual pep. Well, that was my own personal experience. I didn't make it very long, probably only 3 or 4 days, to be honest with you, but I did glean some pretty important insight. And then I started to do my own research about what was it exactly. I have Hashimoto's, sure, but I'm pretty well controlled right now. What was it about this particular diet that didn't leave me feeling so great? Well, if you have Hashimoto's, you're also probably dealing with hypothyroidism. Of course, we know that's true, right? Many of my clients are being treated medically with a synthetic thyroid hormone medication or with a natural desiccated thyroid hormone in order to help provide the additional thyroid hormone support that is needed for feeling your best if your thyroid can't do it because of the autoimmune tissue damage that is a result of having Hashimoto's. Well, my antibodies have been in remission for quite some time, but I still do take tyrosine medication. And so I think that what happens when we reduce our carbohydrate intake significantly lower than what we're normally used to consuming, our brain gets confused, right? So our brain uses glucose to tell our hypothalamus and our pituitary what to do. And those two glands within our brain, they tell our thyroid what to do. The glucose molecules from the foods that we eat are part of this process in terms of making healthy hormone production all the way up in our brains. So when we reduce carbohydrates, well, almost things kind of come to a stop. The hypothalamus and the pituitary just kind of downregulate. And now thyroid stimulating hormone, which is that hormone that creates that biofeedback loop from the brain to the thyroid, is kind of stagnant. And so the result is that the thyroid will produce less free T3. And we need that free T3 for our pep in our step and our get up and go, our vibrancy. And we know from, how many other videos have I done that one of the most important things for optimizing your health with Hashimoto's is making sure you've got optimal free T3 levels. If you're not consuming enough complex carbohydrates, you may also be increasing reverse T3. It's kind of like putting the brakes on, slowing your metabolism down so that your body can reserve that fuel for another time. In a way, it's kind of like Mother Nature sees this process of trying to use ketones for energy and not having enough carbohydrates and glucose as fuel, sort of like starvation. In fact, ketosis in a way is sort of like starvation. So the ketogenic diet, the keto diet is, the purpose is to put your body in the state of ketosis, right? So ketosis is when there's not enough carbohydrates for fuel. And so now your body is going to start producing ketones. These ketones are made and used by the liver to start dumping fat into the bloodstream so that your muscles, your brain, your heart, your lungs, and all of your important vital organs can use ketones as a fuel source instead of glucose. So very much in the same way that maybe our nutritional ancestors went into ketosis, right, when they didn't have enough fuel, that's kind of what the purpose of keto is doing, which is to kind of trick your body into breaking down that fat. Clearly, this has some known health benefits. In fact, there's plenty of research about it, and you can find some of my research links in the description down below. We do know that the keto diet, which is very low carb and emphasizes high fat intake and includes a moderate amount of protein, is shown to help support a healthy immune response, increase the body's glutathione levels, decrease inflammation, and help to support and re-regulate blood sugar. This can be a very helpful diet for some conditions and maybe even for some autoimmune conditions, but it can be tricky when you're dealing with autoimmune thyroid. I kind of just explained some of the reasons there. So we don't want to trick the brain. We don't want to reduce or restrict the glucose to that part of the brain that regulates the thyroid hormones. We don't want to downregulate hypothalamus. We don't want to downregulate the pituitary gland, and we don't want to downregulate the thyroid gland. For those of you who've been working really hard to tweak your medication type and dosage for a while now with your prescribing physician, you know just how tricky it can be to get exactly the right amount. And then whoops, you change your diet a little bit and all of a sudden you find you might be back at the drawing board. So I personally think if you are looking to do some things like I just described, improving a healthy immune response, increasing glutathione levels and boosting detox, maybe reducing inflammation. I think the best dietary change that you can make is to remove all toxic and inflammatory foods from your diet, including gluten. Have you watched my other video? It's the most watched video on my YouTube channel called If You Have Hashimoto's, Why You Should Stop Eating Gluten. Stop right now if you haven't seen it and go check that out, because that really explains the whole process, the whole cascade of how the gluten protein, right, gluten and gliadin and its responses in the body, what happens with zonulin and what happens with the immune system at the digestive system level that causes this whole cascade of problems that develop in the first place. That's one thing that you can do that's very easy to start creating more optimal health in your body. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about as part of this video is maybe you're already doing a ketogenic diet. How can you do a ketogenic diet if you have Hashimoto's and be more successful, or maybe just make sure that you're not doing things that are going to mess things up too much? But before I answer that question, I also want to say that one of the things I've discovered, obviously, in working for nearly 20 years with my Hashimoto's clients in my nutrition practice, but also because I am also a Hashimoto's patient and I'm my own best guinea pig, is that there's such a corresponding level of adrenal fatigue that comes along with Hashimoto's that if you are also non-regulated thyroid hormone, inflamed, high antibodies, Hashimoto's person that's also dealing with extreme afternoon fatigue, needing stimulants, having skin issues, chronic infections, sleep problems, loads of stress all together, then going on a ketogenic diet is only going to be one more stressor. That's going to be like the straw that breaks the camel's back. My goodness, friends, please try to create more peace and harmony in your body and don't add any more stress to your poor little body's plate. Most people who have Hashimoto's, either it's early in diagnosis or later in diagnosis, deal with some degree of adrenal dysfunction. So that's why I'm asking you to exercise caution. And you probably have a gut instinct, or you've been told that you have some of this adrenal dysfunction. So just be careful. Work with a qualified, board-certified holistic nutrition practitioner, someone like me, to maybe customize a diet for you and maybe even implement some of the keto principles that can be health supportive. So I do want to talk about a couple of my gentleman clients who have Hashimoto's, and I'm speaking about the men again being more successful. But also I want to point out that in working with these two guys, we were very careful to make sure that they had a limited time frame for doing keto and that we were watching carefully not only their body composition, but making sure that they were getting plenty of nutrition. And both of these guys were very successful, losing 20, 30, 40 pounds, right? So if you're a guy watching this video, you might be feeling like, ooh, this could be something I could try. So I want to share a resource with you. It's a book I just picked up. I got this at Barnes & Noble, I think. It's the 30-Day Ketogenic Cleanse by Maria Emmerich. And it is a beautiful full-color cookbook with amazing recipes that, whether you're doing keto or not, is actually really good. But if you're following the plan that's in this book and you're going to do it for a limited period of time, like 30 days, this is really one way you can employ this diet to be most successful in terms of getting the benefits, the health benefits, doing the diet correctly, and also making sure that you're getting optimal nutrition from food. So you'll see that in Maria's book, it's not just a bunch of bacon and eggs. She has lots of micronutrient and phytonutrient rich plant foods, and she incorporates a lot of balanced nutrition while also obviously being focused on that macro ratio with a high fat level. So, if you're just kind of curious and you're ready to get started on something like this, she does provide meal plans and kind of a step-by-step how-to process. I would recommend checking out her book. You can probably find it on Amazon or at your local bookstore. This would be my recommendation. Now, as far as it is concerned with having Hashimoto's and going on a ketogenic diet, you need to make sure that in the absence of plenty of plant-based complex carbohydrates and that glucose fuel support for your body, that you're also not omitting some of the really essential vitamins and minerals that are found in plant foods. So there's a couple of supplements that I recommend. The first would be definitely just taking a very high quality multivitamin. I recommend the Phyto Multi by Metagenics. You can find the link down below if you're interested in purchasing that. It's 3 capsules per day, and it's my favorite multivitamin. It is really the best broad foundation support for health, whether you have Hashimoto's or not, but surely it has the zinc, the selenium, the iodine, and all of the phytonutrients that help to keep your body healthy, to keep your immune system working properly, and also to just kind of provide the nutrition that's needed when you're making a dietary change. Other things that you can do to support your body when you're doing a keto diet, if you have Hashimoto's, is to make sure you're taking a digestive enzyme, something that is a broad spectrum, full enzyme support, including the protease and the lipase and the amylase enzymes that are going to help to break down the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat that you are consuming. If you're eating a high fat, high protein diet and not a lot of carbohydrates, this can take a bit of a toll on the digestive system. Yeah, you can kind of feel like you've just got a food baby that's not digesting very well. So check out some enzymes. And then also, you may need to do a little of extra liver support, taking something like milk thistle or maybe alpha lipoic acid. These types of supplements ensure that as long as your liver is going to be converting fat into ketones, your liver is a well-oiled machine. So be sure to check out my list below of the top supplements to make sure you have on board if you're doing keto or even modified keto, or even if you're just doing a 30-day ketogenic cleanse. Okay, so let's just kind of review my top takeaways from today's video. A, keto has its benefits. It's a great diet, but it's definitely not for everyone. Yes, there's research and lots of resources that show how it can help to benefit our health. But not everyone who has autoimmune thyroid disease, Hashimoto's, will benefit. The people who are dysregulated in their thyroid, meaning they can't quite figure out how to get their medication right, they're really symptomatic, they're maybe in a Hashimoto's flare, not the right diet for you. Ladies, you may struggle just a little bit whether you have Hashimoto's or not, and you may especially struggle if you're in my age group of perimenopause or menopause, because we're already dealing with fluctuating hormones and we need that glucose to help provide and support our healthy hormone balance in our bodies. Also, if you're a guy, more power to you, because you're probably going to do pretty well on a ketogenic diet, but you want to make sure you know exactly how long you're going to do it for, have proper support, and follow a really good guidebook like this one that I shared with you. And for anyone who's seriously thinking about doing keto or already doing keto, don't just sit around and eat sticks of butter and eat bacon and eggs all day long. You need to still incorporate some of the leafy greens and other really vibrant, phytonutrient-rich plant foods, as well as a high-quality multivitamin like the one I have in the comments down below. You may need enzymes to help support your digestive system, and you may need some support for your liver as well. So this is my video today, introducing you to all of my thoughts on the ketogenic diet for people with Hashimoto's. Thank you so much for watching my video, for subscribing to my channel. Remember to like and share these videos and set your notifications bell, because baby, I'm back. I'll be recording some more videos and you can check those out here in the next week or so. Thanks and have a great day. I'll be back soon.